Okay, so the way I would read the chapter, like, and you, from the sounds of it, you're doing most of this.
Okay.
Okay, so this is good, but we're going to switch a few things. Very first, of course, you notice that the chapter is ginormous.
Oh, they get bigger.
Some get bigger. Towards the end, they're really small, like 20 pages.
Oh, that's nice.
They're really small, so it kind of like builds up and then not as bad.
That's good. Makes me feel better.
Yeah, so not so bad. So you said you read the summary first?
Yeah.
Okay, I'd read the glossary first.
Okay.
Very first, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. The glossary, and if you read the glossary before, the chapters, you do. Okay, so the glossary touches on every key phrase, right? Everything that's in bold.
Yeah.
It touches on the people talked about in the chapter, but rather than talking about Plato or Aristotle for 5-6 pages, it like everything that's important about him
Is right there.
in a paragraph, which is really great. It's easier to remember that way, right? Not saying that you shouldn't still read, but this is
Yeah.
super important.
Okay.
Okay, and then another thing that sometimes people overlook is like, you know what the word being means outside of this context. You know what becoming means, but you don't know what it means in this chapter. You're not familiar with how they're using it. Same thing with dreaming, forms,
Yeah.
everything like that. It's totally different. Okay. So it's good that you prep your mind by reading it. Okay. Oh yeah, so you're now reading the chapter. Oh, I get what they're saying. You kind of know what they're talking about. That's really good rather than just like, oh, dreaming. Okay, what about it? You know, different.
Yeah.
Okay. I think reading the glossary, it's going to take you an extra few minutes. Super worth it. I think you do yourself a disservice by not reading it.
Yeah.
And I would always read it first. For that very reason. I think it's awesome.
Do I need to memorize all the terms in there? Like.
Nope. I'll show you what you should do. No, I wouldn't memorize them. So students create flashcards,
Yeah.
but flashcards are a really shallow way of retaining information. They're really shallow. Like, you know what I mean by shallow? You're not getting into the depth of what it means. You're just like,
This is what it
just
is.
recognize a word and this is what it is, and then you take the test and you never remember it again. I think flashcards are really bad.
Okay.
Some tests, maybe they're okay. Not this one. I wouldn't even play with it.
Okay.
Cool?
Yep.
Alright, so don't play with it. Don't do it. Glossary first, then the summary. You already read the summaries, so that's good. The summary's sweet, and you probably noticed it, but this in particular, this book, it breaks up every paragraph with a new person or a new idea. That's usually what paragraphs are, right?
Yeah.
A new idea. But this is especially good at doing like a really good job of making sure that it's not like a run-on. Every paragraph something new. So here's Plato, here's Aristotle, etc., and it goes that way. So in the glossary, it gave you Plato in like this much. Like this is what you should know about Plato. In the summary, it gives you this much. Whereas in the textbook, it gives you 5 or 6 pages, right? The summary is huge. The summary is really important.
Yeah.
I would definitely read the summary. And in that order, glossary, summary, then the chapter.
Okay.
How long does it take to read the chapter?
Depends on how long they are. It usually takes. Because I take notes as I go.
Where do you take your notes?
Like I'll usually just write a paragraph of each person of what I get from them.
And that?
So, I don't know.
Where do you usually write notes?
Either on like those sticky notes. I've been trying different things. Cause
Oh yeah,
nothing's
yeah.
working.
So sticky notes. Okay, sticky notes are
And I'll
good.
stick them right there, or else I'll write them in here, or different. Just kind of whatever's in front of me, which is probably terrible.
Yeah.
You're
So no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not terrible. It's not terrible. But there's a better way to do it. There's a better way to do it. I think notes are really good because textbooks are boring, and at least writing kind of keeps you awake, right?
Yeah.
A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit. It kind of keeps you awake, and that's important. But it's also like another chance to do something with the information. So I've heard it said, I don't know if there's any truth to this, but the more senses you can incorporate in your learning, the better you learn. You ever heard that? So if you like say it out loud, if you read it, if you touch it, I don't know how you touch the information.
Touch the textbook.
Let's go ahead and touch Socrates' picture right here. But anytime you can get more senses in it, you're more likely to remember it. I think there's some truth to that. I don't think you need to taste your textbook, but I think you should hear it out loud. I think you should see it and read it.
Okay.
I think you should write it. in your notes. But as far as your notes go, if I were you, I would not take any notes anywhere other than in my textbook.
Just in the textbook?
Just in the textbook. The only time I might take notes in my notebook would be in class.
Okay.
And that's what I did. But even then, thinking about it, I kind of wish I would have done it just in the textbook. And it is why.
It's right in front of you. Everything's right there.
Yeah, so you're gonna like, so let's say you get to the test, and your tests are open book.
Yeah, not open.
Open notes.
Yeah.
Open book, open notes, and it's asking you about, I don't know, I can just pick somebody. It's asking you about Plato. Plato's big in this chapter, so we can say Plato.
Okay.
Aristotle or something, and you're like, oh gosh, where is it? And you're looking through your book, you can't find your book, you're like, oh, maybe I wrote it in my notes. Oh, maybe it's on a sticky note. Oh, maybe it's in my notebook.
They're all over the place.
Oh, maybe it's in a text document on my computer. Oh, I wrote that on the palm of my hand in class, so I was going to transfer it, and then I washed it off. Do you know what I mean? If you have it all right in front of you,
It's going to be better.
it's going to be better.
Okay.
It's going to be a lot better. Way better. So, yeah, keep your notes here.